Listen. Pause for a breath. Do not scroll. Not now. There is a reason this moment found you when it did. Not by accident. Not by chance. Not by an algorithm. Something ancient, something patient, something that has watched you long before today is standing very close to you now. I am Archangel Michael. And what I am about to say was not allowed to be spoken until this exact window opened. I saw your future. And when I saw it, I could not stop crying. Not because of pain. Not because of loss. But because of what you almost missed. You have been walking past signs placed gently in your path. Quiet signs. Soft signs. Signs that did not shout, because your soul does not respond to shouting. You respond to recognition. And still, you skipped them. You doubted them. You told yourself later. Later has a sound. Later has a weight. Later leaves echoes. This is why time feels strange right now. This is why your heart has felt restless without knowing why. This is why memories, thoughts, and questions you buried long ago are resurfacing without invitation. Nothing is random here. I was watching when you felt that unexplained pull. I was present when you felt tired in a way sleep could not fix. I stood near when you whispered, even silently, there has to be more than this. There is. But hear me clearly now, the door I saw in your future does not stay open forever. Not because it closes out of cruelty. But because it opens only when you are ready to see it. You were shown signs before. Small ones. Harmless ones. Repeating numbers that made no sense. Encounters that felt too perfectly timed. A sentence you overheard that answered a question you never asked out loud. A feeling that arrived and left before you could name it. You thought those were coincidences. They were rehearsals. What I saw next shook me, not because of fear, but because of beauty so precise it made even the heavens grow quiet. Your life is approaching a turn so exact that missing it by even a step would send you into an echo of almosts. Almost becoming who you were meant to be. Almost living the life that fits you. Almost understanding why you survived what you survived. This is not about money. This is not about fame. This is not about escaping your life. This is about alignment. There is a version of you already walking ahead, looking back, waiting for you to catch up. That version is calmer. Stronger. Clear-eyed. And carrying something you thought you lost a long time ago, trust in yourself. But listen, this future does not chase you. It invites you. That is why I was not allowed to speak until now. Interference would have changed the choice. And the choice must be yours. You have wondered why some doors closed even when you knocked politely. Why effort didn't always equal outcome. Why being good did not always feel rewarded. I will tell you gently. Some doors closed because if they had opened, you would have stayed smaller than you were designed to be. Your soul has been stretching. And stretching feels like discomfort before it feels like freedom. I saw the moment ahead where you finally stop apologizing for your pace. Where you stop explaining your depth to those who only skim the surface. Where you stop shrinking your dreams to make others comfortable. And when I saw that moment, I cried. Because you came so close to abandoning yourself before reaching it. There is a sentence you told yourself in the past. Maybe quietly. Maybe jokingly. Maybe in exhaustion. I guess this is just how it is. That sentence almost rewrote your future. But it didn't. Because something in you refused to fully agree. That resistance is sacred. Right now, unseen hands are rearranging timing around you. Conversations will land differently. Opportunities will feel heavier, more serious, harder to ignore. And choices that once felt confusing will suddenly feel obvious. This is the calm before clarity. Do not rush. Do not panic. Do not look back to measure progress. The next sign will not be subtle. It will arrive as a knowing. A stillness. A moment where your heart recognizes truth faster than your mind can argue with it. When that happens, remember this message. Remember that I saw your future, and I wept, not because of sorrow, but because of how close you are to remembering who you really are. Stay here. There is more you were never told. You are still here. That alone tells me something important about you. Most people feel the pull, and then retreat. They feel the truth rise in their chest and immediately look for noise to drown it out. But you stayed. That means your spirit recognizes what your mind has not fully accepted yet. Now listen carefully. When I was allowed to look deeper into your future, I did not see a single dramatic explosion of change. I saw something far more powerful. I saw a sequence. Quiet shifts. Small decisions that looked ordinary on the outside but altered everything beneath the surface. This is why your life has felt slow lately. Not stuck. Not blocked. Just paused. A pause is not punishment. It is precision. There were moments you thought you were falling behind others. Watching people move ahead while you remained where you were. But what you did not see is that many of them were moving fast in the wrong direction. Speed without alignment creates exhaustion. You were being spared from that. I saw you standing at a crossroads you don't even realize exists yet. One path feels familiar. Safe. Predictable. It asks you to stay who you've been. The other path feels quiet but firm. It asks you to become who you truly are. The second path does not shout. It does not beg. It waits. You have always been sensitive to atmosphere. To energy in rooms. To what is unsaid. That is not weakness. That is discernment. And that discernment is about to become your greatest protection. Because something is ending. Not abruptly. Not painfully. But definitively. An old cycle is loosening its grip. Patterns you thought were part of your personality were actually survival strategies. You learned them when you needed them. And now, they are gently being removed. That can feel like loss before it feels like freedom. I saw a moment ahead where you finally understand why certain connections faded. Why some people couldn't follow you into this next phase. It wasn't because you were wrong. It was because your frequency changed. Growth creates distance without intention. Do not chase what is drifting away. There is something being prepared that matches who you are becoming, not who you were. And here is what made me lower my head in silence when I saw your future. You almost said no to it. Not out of fear. Out of humility. You almost convinced yourself that you were asking for too much. That it was selfish to want more clarity, more peace, more purpose. But hear this now and remember it when the moment comes. Wanting alignment is not greed. Wanting peace is not weakness. Wanting meaning is not asking too much. It is remembering. Soon, a situation will arise that tests whether you trust your inner knowing more than external approval. It will feel subtle, but it will carry weight. When that moment arrives, your body will respond before your thoughts do. Pay attention to that response. Your future shifts the moment you choose yourself without guilt. I saw you standing stronger, not louder, not harder, just clearer. I saw you sleeping better. Breathing deeper. Laughing without that quiet heaviness behind your smile. And I saw someone noticing the change in you, someone who recognizes your depth because they carry depth too. This is not coincidence. You are being repositioned. Stay present. Stay honest with yourself. And above all, do not rush the unveiling. What is coming next will make everything before this make sense. And when it does, you will understand why I had to wait until now to speak. There is something I have not said yet. Because some truths cannot be heard until the heart is steady enough to receive them. You have been protected more times than you realize. Not just from visible harm, but from futures that looked attractive and would have slowly erased you. I saw timelines where you got what you wanted too early. Where success came before self-understanding. Where attachment arrived before clarity. And in those futures, you were applauded, but hollow. That future was removed. This is why certain plans fell apart at the last moment. Why a yes turned into a no without explanation. Why timing betrayed you just when you thought everything was finally aligning. It wasn't betrayal. It was interception. There are forces that respond when a soul is on the verge of forgetting itself. And you came close. Not because you are weak, but because you are adaptable. You learned how to survive anywhere, even where you did not belong. But survival is not your destination. You were meant to build. To choose. To stand in something that feels quietly right, even if it confuses others. I saw you in the future pausing before a decision, feeling that familiar urge to seek reassurance. To ask one more person. To wait for one more sign. And in that moment, I leaned closer than ever before. Because the sign was you. Your hesitation has never been about doubt. It has been about responsibility. You feel deeply. You consider consequences. You carry others in your choices. That is rare. And it is heavy. But hear me now. Not every burden is yours to carry forward. You are allowed to put some of it down. Soon, something you have been quietly preparing for, without even realizing it, will be asked of you. It will not look dramatic. It will not arrive with celebration. It will feel simple, almost ordinary. Do not underestimate ordinary doors. Great shifts often enter disguised as small decisions. When you step through this one, a strange thing will happen. The noise around you will soften. Opinions will matter less. Comparison will lose its grip. You will feel less urgency to prove and more desire to be. That is alignment taking hold. I saw you becoming more selective. With your time. With your energy. With your words. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. And that changes everything. There is a part of your story that has been paused, not because it failed, but because it needed you to grow first. When it resumes, it will move faster than you expect. Momentum follows clarity. I watched you in the future looking back at this version of yourself, the one listening now, and feeling a deep tenderness. Not regret. Gratitude. Gratitude that you didn't quit when nothing made sense. Gratitude that you stayed open when closing would have been easier. Gratitude that you trusted something you couldn't yet see. You are not late. You are precise. Everything you have walked through has shaped the way you will hold what is coming next. And you will hold it well. Stay with me. The next part reveals what activates when you finally stop waiting for permission. There is a moment ahead where everything becomes quiet inside you. Not empty. Not numb. Quiet. And that silence will feel unfamiliar, because you are used to carrying noise. Questions, second-guessing, expectations that were never truly yours. When that inner noise fades, you might mistake it for uncertainty. It is not. It is alignment settling in. This is where many people turn back. Not because something is wrong, but because peace can feel strange when you have lived too long in tension. But you will recognize it. Your breathing will slow. Your thoughts will line up instead of colliding. That is when the next phase begins. I saw you making a decision without rehearsing it 100 times. Without needing approval. Without apologizing to yourself afterward. And that single decision sent a signal outward, one that reshaped how the world responded to you. You stop chasing confirmation. And confirmation starts finding you. Opportunities become clearer, not louder. People approach you differently. Conversations deepen faster. You notice that when you speak, others listen. Not because you demand attention, but because your presence carries certainty. This is what happens when you stop leaking energy into doubt. There is something important you must understand now. Your future does not activate through effort alone. It activates through coherence. When your thoughts, actions, and inner truth finally move in the same direction, resistance dissolves. I saw doors open that never responded to force, but responded instantly to authenticity. You were never meant to push your way forward. You were meant to arrive. There will be a moment when you realize that the waiting you resented was actually preparation. That delays were calibrations. That silence was instruction. And when that realization lands, you will feel something shift behind your eyes. A release. As if you finally stopped holding your breath. That is the version of you I saw. Grounded. Unrushed. Unmistakably yourself. This is why I spoke now. Because the old timeline, the one built on hesitation and self-doubt, is dissolving. And the new one does not announce itself with urgency. It invites you with clarity. You do not need to do anything dramatic. You do not need to change everything overnight. You only need to listen when the next inner yes appears. That yes will not shout. It will feel calm. And it will feel right. Stay steady. What follows after this is not noise, not chaos, not confusion. It is direction. And you are finally ready to walk it.